The government is cleaning up the financial space. You have an integral and key job in helping with the investigation of people who may have accepted or taken monies that didn't belong to them. Can you tell us what you're doing in the financial sector?
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, as our name suggests, we are to fight organized crime and the recover proceeds of organized crime. The government started this process sometime 2018, 2019, and the receiver was appointed. So the receiver submitted about 23 companies, that is savings and loans companies, and 347 microfinance companies to us. Wow. And we had to come out with a strategy, and that was to divide ourselves into two teams. And the two teams, we look at the 10 major companies, measured by in terms of deposits taken from the members of the public and maybe the way that they handled members of the public. And so far, the 10 major, we've started with 3 from the savings and loans, and the 3 we are talking of the AD Finance, we are talking of Unicredit, then we are talking of another one which I cannot really recall it.
Okay. Any reason you settled on these 3?
Yes,
and I think the third one is Express Savings and Loans.
That's it. Okay, you have it there. Yes, as I said, the quantum of deposits that they've collected from members of the public. You know, so many customers have been denied their monies. The idea was that they were to deposit this money into the banks or whatever, and they were to receive their monies back. But in the case of AD Finance, we are talking about 700 million Ghana cedis, which has not been accounted for. In the case of microfinance companies, we are talking of Adumsika, they are talking about 150 million Ghana cedis. So we pick depending on the quantum of amounts that have been lodged with them, which they have not been able to account for. We started with AD Finance, where the main director is one Nii Kotei Dzani. We had him somewhere in November, December last year.
What does have him mean?
We brought him to this office, and it was based on an invitation. But when he came around in the course of the investigations and interrogation, we saw that he's somebody who can be treated as a suspect. And so he was treated as such. He had to go through all the rudiments of police work. His premises were searched. Statement was taken from him. He was given a caution statement. And at the end of the day, there was a need for somebody to stand as surety.
So you formally arrested him?
He was formally arrested.
We have seen publications suggesting that your claim to have arrested him is false and that there's a strong denial coming from his side that he was not arrested.
You can decide it. You can decide to say it. But we are saying that he was arrested. The records are there. There was a bail condition that was given. So if you are claiming that he was taken to the police station, he was virtually, naked because he was just about being put into the cells.
Did you go after him because he's NDC or he has sympathies for the NDC?
I don't know that he's an NDC. I don't know. This is the first time that I'm hearing that he's NDC. I know that he's a Council of State member. I know that he was a director and founder of the AD Finance. And we were not going after political parties, nor members of any political parties. We were going after directors who have misused public money.
So what's your plan? How are you going to retrieve the monies that you think he has taken wrongfully, for instance?
He was to come back and rectify his bail conditions, only to be, informed that he has taken us to court for trying to say that we don't have the power to do what we were doing, and that he was being harassed and blah, 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 so many things. EOCO is a law-abiding institution, so we went to court all right, and his application was thrown out. And my understanding is that he has filed an appeal at the court that is challenging the judgment of the Court of Appeal, which we are ready to go and then speak to it. Okay. So Yes, as I said, we have two major objects. First, to investigate organized crime, and then to trace processes of organized crime. As we speak now, we have frozen most of his accounts.
His bank accounts have
been frozen legally. We went to court and they had, judgment for the accounts to be frozen.
I have picked up information that you've frozen up to 31 bank accounts. Is that accurate?
That's true. Frozen almost, and then we are trying to get information about other accounts which may not be known to us, which have not come to our notice.
And are these accounts belonging to Ideal Group or belonging to him as a person? Which ones are you?
Belonging to Ideal Group and him as a person. We are looking at the two.
What other assets are you looking at?
But as we speak now, we have also gotten judgment to, preserve most of his assets. Vehicles and landed properties of the applicant at Adan and Nii Side Street, East Legon, have also been frozen and confirmed by the court. The office is continuing efforts to track and trace other assets in the form of vehicles, landed properties, a speedboat belonging to Adi Finance and Nii Kotei Dzani.
A speedboat?
A speedboat. So we go after anything that we believe, if it is disposed of, can get some money to be put into the accounts of the receiver.
Is he collaborating?
No, not to the best of my knowledge.
If a person that you are investigating conceals their assets and you find out, is that correct?
Yeah, it is.
What are you doing about other institutions?
Apart from Adi Finance, we belong to the savings and loans. And we are talking of Nii Credit. We are also looking at the microfinance companies. Microfinance, we are talking about Adumska, where about 150 million is involved. So apart from Adumska, we have other companies that also come under the microfinance companies. And we are, it's a very big assignment. And in order not to lose sight of most of the information that we need, we are going slowly and gradually.
Okay. Who are you chasing in the Nii Credit Savings and Loans Limited?
Yes, as we speak now, we have spoken to some of the former workers of the Nii Credit. We've spoken to one Samuel Sechyde, who was a former chief executive of Nii Credit. And then we've spoken to Bright Entwiusu, who was also former acting executive head of finance and Nii Credit. And then we've spoken to Padmore Yabo Asiama. He was also a former managing director of Nii Credit. We have other names that are pending to be interrogated. And we are talking of one Frank Opon Yeboah, former board chairman, and Akosia Fosia Dufo, a director of the company, and then Honorable Kwabena Dufo, a director of the company.